7:05, we'll call this work session of mayor and council to order. Tonight's regular scheduled agenda, you all received a copy of the announcements. Ceremonial matters, we have several proclamations tonight. You received a copy of the minutes. Does anybody have any questions or objections to the minutes from the last meeting? We have no invited guests. Ms. McElwain will be here to give us a report. First that, and then Mr. Sanders, you have a city manager report?
Very short, yes.
Nothing on tonight's consent agenda. For old business, we have a second reading on the church there on Wisteria. Mr. Davis. Back in the...
Change corners this week. This is the old gym facility that's in the back left corner of Wisteria Square. The Pastor Heyman would like to purchase this to turn it into a church building. We took it through Planning Commission and they passed it through with 7 conditions, which are in your packet tonight. And we've had a couple of people after the hearing, when this was published, come and question what might, if there's a fence that was erected back there behind the building at one point in time, and the neighbors wanted to be sure that fence would be there. And so, in thinking about it, we might want to add an 11th condition, which would be that the existing fence would be retained, and if it was repaired or replaced, it would be brought into condition that it was originally. But it's pretty straightforward.
Questions for Mr. Davis?
How tall is that, 6 foot privacy fence?
I would have to check and see. It was put in a buffer fence when it was a gym, and they apparently plowed down part of the buffer.
And I think Councilman Kraus and myself met with Mr. Snell, and that was one of the adjacent property owners who requested. He did say he believed it was a 6-foot fence. So. Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to B, second reading, consideration action on a home rule ordinance to amend 2.19B of the charter for notification of special meetings. Mr. Howell or Mr. Sanders?
This is just the change in the notification procedure for special meetings, which adds an electronic communication portion, and I think the only question was whether it was going to be a 24 or 48 hour time frame prior. And did the council make a decision on that?
I think that was discussed, but no one gave any instruction to change. It's 24, and the only thing that was being added was the email communication, and everything else was remaining the same. If they want to change it to 48, it can be done, but we just have to say, let's do it that way.
Questions? Under new business, we have the purchasing of the computer radio stations. The third systems are now on center. Is that?
Really, the first two there, I'll let Roy take those. They're upgrades, and
one is the CGIS authentication that's required by the NCIC and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Every agency in the country has to go to that. It provides for more encryption and protection of criminal history information. That's mandatory, and that one was about 9,000 and some odd dollars, I believe. And then the other one is our current radios that we use are computer-based, and the computers were purchased in 2008. They're reaching the end of their life, plus they're on Windows XP, which is no longer supported for this system, and so we've got to upgrade to Windows 7 at least. I think that's what it is. I don't have that information with me, but I think that's what it was. And what that'll do is it'll upgrade actually all 3 of the stations that we have. And as we understand it, SDS should cover everything except maybe the purchase of the system for the third system, which comes to about $2,600. But the rest of the $18,000 should be reimbursed.
Should be, will be.
That's the only thing I can ever tell you because we're dealing with the county board where where it's 3-2.
Well, how many, if they don't, how much are we spending?
It's $18,000 for everything.
But
But,
do we have anything in the budget for that, or do we have it?
well, we do have, we have 9,000 in the budget to purchase a new, intoximeter, but we actually have 2 years to get that. So if we had to, if it doesn't come back, we could utilize some of that money to help offset the cost of it.
But there hasn't been a problem with getting reimbursed for everything we've submitted. You know, we're in compliance with audit needs, and
They true up to the audit. The only issue is that that's something that has to be voted on by committee. I can't guarantee, I believe that it will be, but, you know, for me to sit here and tell you 100% that it will be, I can't guarantee that.
Fair enough.
Other questions? Okay. That covered actually items A and B, so we'll move on to item C, resolution to transmit the short-term work program. That's a carryover from the last
it
meeting.
is, y'all approved the changes in the short-term work program, approved the document. Now we have to just have a resolution that goes with it. So it's just a housekeeping measure.
Okay. Any questions? And then item D and E, council's appointment of Marcy Ferris to post 6 of the Snellville Board of Appeals, and council's appointment of Marilyn Sweeney to post 5 of the Snellville Board of Appeals. Any questions about that? Then, Mr. Sanders, do we have correspondence to review?
We have one, and I think everybody may have gotten this email from Lamar Norton at GMA. It's because Al Outland is worked so closely with the Gwinnett Municipal Association. He's an attorney with GMA. He's probably a 20-year employee, but this came from Lamar, executive director. He says, "I'm sorry to share the sad news that Al Outland's father passed away on Wednesday, October the 16th. Mr. Outland has suffered from Alzheimer's for the past 10 years and was moved into hospice last weekend. Funeral arrangements are yet to be determined, but will be in Alabama with no visitation planned for the Atlanta area. Al's mother, Eunice, has been living with Al for the past few years to be close to the nursing home where her husband was placed, and to be closer to her 3 children who all live in the North Metro area. Please keep Al and his family in your thoughts and prayers. If you'd like to send a card, their address is 735 Old Clubs Drive, Alpharetta 30022. Al does a great job with GMA and with the Gwinnett Municipal Association, and I just wanted you to know that he lost his dad. If you see him.
Mr. Bell?
Nothing to report.
So we need an executive session?
I don't think so.
Okay. We will be in recess till 7:30.